Clicked on this video because you've been taking a GLP-1 like retatrutide, tirzepatide, or any of the semaglutide variants, wegovy, ozempic, so on. And you're at the end of the road, your goal weight's within reach, or maybe you're even past your goal weight. And it's like, it's time to come off the GLP-1. And you've made a plan for this, right? Because you've heard about people coming off of it and then they gain all their weight back and they just right back on. They get onto this merry-go-round of, you jab yourself with this stuff for a while, you hit your goal and then come off and boom, gain all the weight. You need a plan and you have one, right? Well, let's talk about it. So I'm Jake Watkins. I'm really a software developer, CrossFit enthusiast, and apparently I'm becoming a bit of a biohacker. I've been using Retatrutide since August of 2025, and we're at the end of December 2025, and I've achieved my goal weight. Actually, I've gone past it. My goal is to hit 215 around Thanksgiving, actually. I was at 210. Right now I'm sitting at 212. So things are great, and I'm titrating off of Retatrutide. And I've got a plan, and I was going to talk to you about it. In my opinion, the GLP-1, whether we're talking retatrutide, tirzepatide, or any of the semaglutides, they're not just weight loss drugs. It's a way for you to change your lifestyle. There's a reason you got on this stuff, whether it's just health related. There's a driver for you to go through the expense and just the discomfort of injecting yourself. You want that lifestyle change so that you don't come back and you have to do it all over again. That nobody wants that. So that's why you need a plan. In Franklin Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Second habit, though, is begin with the end in mind. And so honestly, I would say even before you had started Retatrutide, you should have started thinking about, okay, well, what should my life look like after I do this thing? And while you're using the medication, you should be implementing those lifestyle changes. And that's what we're going to talk about here. There are 2 parts to the strategy. The first is what you're going to eat and looking at nutrition and all like that, because I don't care how much you exercise, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet or bad nutrition, however you want to say it. We need to talk about nutrition. The easy part, in my opinion, is actually the exercise. I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of an avid CrossFitter. I do it a lot. I'm not competitive, but I'm in the gym 4 to 6 times a week at the CrossFit gym. I'm in a normie gym 3 to 5 times a week. And in my opinion, the exercise piece is the easiest one. Especially in regard to CrossFit. If you go to a good CrossFit gym, it's the easy button, and I recommend that be where you start. If you don't already know how to work out and you don't already know what you're doing, go to a good CrossFit gym and just do what they tell you. Key piece to this is a good CrossFit gym. So a good CrossFit gym for me may not be the same as a good CrossFit gym for you. What I suggest you do in finding that CrossFit gym is go at the time that you plan to go. In my case, I go at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. See the people that are there, because those are the people you're going to work out with. Do they match you? Is the energy good? Is this a place where you think you could be comfortable? Talk to the coaches. Ask all of the questions that matter to you. Really pay attention, to how they're going about doing things. Maybe you're a very high-strung, very competitive person, so a competitive gym may be a good place for you. Wouldn't be a good place for me. I joke that, look, I'm not here to be a Navy SEAL. I'm not training to get dropped behind enemy lines to go snooping and pooping. I'm just here to get a good workout in and be around people. A bit of an introvert, so I don't really need to talk to anybody, but just having people around is good. But you find a gym that fits you. And I'd actually say the same thing's going to apply to a normie gym. I've been to 2 different ones. A Workout Anytime, which was a very nice place. It was very chill, just didn't have a lot of gear in it. And the Gold's Gym that I go to now, which is also, it's a very nice gym. And it has a pretty good atmosphere. But they are very different places. Every gym, you need to pay attention and understand what you're going into. But if you don't already know what to do, I think CrossFit is the absolute easy button on the fitness side of your strategy. And I don't think that this is something that's negotiable. And it's something you should be doing from day one when you get on whatever GLP-1 you're using, because you've heard that, oh, you're going to lose lean muscle mass, that the critics, are constantly about that. Well, the reason that's happening, so many people coming into the GLP-1s, they're sedentary. They don't move around. And unfortunately, they continue that. What we're talking about here, they continue that aspect of their life, sitting there watching the Maury Povich on the TV. And yeah, they're losing weight, but they're losing muscle. Your body, first law of thermodynamics, your body doesn't care where the calories come from. It'll happily take the calories from muscle or fat, doesn't care. So you have to go to the gym. And unfortunately, Pilates, while okay, you need to lift the heavy things. You do have to do deadlifts. You do have to do back squats and do other heavy movements. You will get uncomfortable. You will get tired. Your muscles will get sore. Get to like it. That's part of the lifestyle change that you're going to have, that I think you need to adapt to. Again, I don't think that this is negotiable. I think this is something you have to do. And I think the older you are, the even less negotiable it is. If you're in your 20s, you can kind of get away with it for a while, but even then, you're going to pay a price. So go find a good gym and get into that and make that a part of just your lifestyle. Working out should be like dinner. You don't skip dinner. Well, you don't skip workouts either. So we've got the workout stuff pretty much squared away. You're going to do CrossFit, right? Boom. Done deal. I'm going to beat this to death. You cannot out-exercise bad nutrition. If you go back to what you were doing prior to getting on a GLP-1, well, you're just going to go back to what you were prior to getting on the GLP-1. It's not judgment, it's just simply matter of fact. We want to get our nutrition sorted out. I guess where I'll start with is, what am I doing today? The way my day goes, first, I realize I was having a conversation with a friend. He's got kids. So what works for me might not work for you. You will have to make adjustments and accommodations for yourself. That's why we'll get into some strategy things in a moment. But we'll start off with, what am I doing? How does my day look as far as nutrition goes? So first thing is, I do work from home, and my day, I start early. I get up and I have an energy drink and I'm straight to the gym. When I get home, after I feed the dogs, I raw feed. So I feed them and then I feed myself. Breakfast is fruit, a lot of fruit. 4 ounces of fresh strawberries, 2 ounces of blueberries, 2 ounces of blackberries, if I can get them, 2 ounces of, well, an ounce, maybe 2 ounces of raspberries, if I can get them, a banana, and then a yogurt. I like ratio because I've tried eating Greek yogurt. It's too funky for me. Ratio it tastes good. And it gives you, like, each tub is like 25 grams of protein, which is one of the things that's very important. Get lots of protein into your diet. I will have a bagel or a English muffin with butter and sometimes jelly. Yeah. No sugar, whatever. It tastes good. It satisfies me. And yeah, this whole breakfast is like 900 calories. My target calories for the day are like 2,300. So I get almost half of my calories right off the bat. Another thing that's in my breakfast is I have a Core Power Extreme in my coffee. So one of the principles I'll talk about in a moment is I substitute things. Don't eliminate, I substitute. So instead of putting half and half in my coffee, I put a Core Power Extreme. I've pretty much eliminated putting sugar in the coffee. The Core Power is sweet enough as it is. And also, if you have good coffee, you don't really need sugar. That's the lunch. Then around noon, that was breakfast. Around noon, I have my lunch, which I will do grilled chicken breast, I'll do grilled chicken thighs, or I'll cook chicken thighs in the air fryer. I buy bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs, debone them, and I'll save the trimmings. I'll trim the skin down and all like that, season that, and you throw that into the air fryer. The skin crisps up. Serve that with steamed rice and teriyaki and a steamed vegetable, and you're rocking. Or use chicken breast, and you've got a whole bunch of protein again. Or steak, hamburgers. But my big meal, dinner is actually at lunchtime, and when I'll have another energy drink around 2 o'clock, going into CrossFit at 4. And when I come home, I usually have like 500 calories left for the day. So I may have another Core Power Extreme. I might make a peanut butter sandwich. I've actually been cutting that back. But the big piece is to make sure that I've gotten as close to 215 grams of protein as I can. That's it. I'll get, for a sweet snack, which my sweet tooth is my undoing. I'll get, I've used caramel corn. It's actually fairly low calorie, and a cup of it is absolutely satisfying. And I've gotten into the routine. That's it. So the portion size is that 1 cup, and it's good. I'll also have tortilla chips. For some reason, crunchy stuff has become kind of a big deal to me. And I don't know if it's a side effect of the GLP or what, but that's bingo, in case you're wondering. So that is what my day looks like. And really and truly, one of the principles that in Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Body, he talks about is eating the same things over and over and over. I don't necessarily eat the same things over and over and over, but the pattern is consistent. The breakfast does stay pretty much the same every time. The lunch does change. There's a lot of different things. I tend to focus more on a high protein meal for lunch. But I'm not worried about, this isn't carnivore or low carb or anything like that. Doing CrossFit, you need carbs in order to do high intensity sprinting workouts or whatever it is that the coaches put together. You're going to have carbs, hit the glycolytic pathway in your energy system. It's just reality, and it's all nonsense. If carnivore actually worked, we wouldn't be using GLP-1s. You just go off on carnivore, or you do Atkins or whatever it is. It doesn't work. So that is what I am actively doing, and my plan to continue doing. I'm not going to go back to hitting the McDonald's. Used to joke about, on my way home from the morning gym, I will often do some of the grocery shopping. I have to pick up stuff for the dogs frequently, or just, hey, I'm out of strawberries, whatever. And I'd grab a sneaky nibble. And that sneaky nibble would be like Hostess cupcakes or something like that, which I justified saying, it's not a whole lot. It's only wafer thin, right? Well, not really. It adds up. I'm not going back to those things. I've got a system that works. Now, fun piece that I have, and this is awesome, is I'm actually going to have to adjust my calories up a little bit to get into maintenance, because I keep losing weight, and I want to start, I really want to focus on recomping, which means, I can't be completely in a calorie deficit all the time in order to build muscle and just shed the little bit of fat that I have left to get to that 15% goal that I set myself up for. So that's what I'm doing. I've already said that a couple of times, but that is what I'm doing. The underpinning strategies, I'm grabbing my notes here so that I hit them all. First thing that I highly recommend, tracking. Get MyFitnessPal and just pay for it. I know it's $50. You've already paid for a freaking GLP-1. Pay for the freaking MyFitnessPal. I'm not sponsored by them, but if they want to send me a check, I'll absolutely cash it. Here's the thing that I want to point out. So I said that I was going to adjust my calories up a little bit. you are not going to be very accurate tracking your calories. It's really difficult to do. Say you make lasagna. I made lasagna. How many calories is that piece of lasagna really? Even if you throw it on the scale and you weigh it and say you got an 8-ounce slice, how much of that is ricotta cheese? How much of that is ground beef? How much of that is the tomato sauce? How much is the mozzarella cheese? How much is the pasta? You don't know. So you're kind of guessing, but you're in the ballpark. So when you adjust calories, or when you set, you go in, you can use those online calculators to figure out, this is how many calories I should get based on my activity level. And then, you adjust it down, say, I would not go more than 500 calories below that to be in a calorie deficit. But bear in mind that, when I put butter on my bagel, is that really a tablespoon, or is it closer to 2 tablespoons? It's probably closer to 2 tablespoons, even though I record it as 1. I'm aware of that. And my calorie targets are adjusted for that error. So bear that in mind with tracking. The next piece is replace, don't eliminate. If you absolutely cut out, I'm not having any more candy, fine. But you're going to have to put something in that vacant spot. Otherwise, you'll end up getting candy again. Nature doesn't like a vacuum. Smokers, one of the things that causes smokers to fail on quitting smoking, besides the fact that nicotine is insanely addictive, is the activity of smoking, the socialization. There's a lot to it. So if you don't replace that, you're going to go back to it. And it's the same thing with food. Pizza. I really like pizza. It used to be, the whole food noise thing. For me, craving pizza was a problem. I don't order pizza very often anymore. As a matter of fact, the last time I had it, as a second time I had ordered, it upset my stomach. Because I haven't had it very often anymore. And I make the pizza myself. I make homemade crust, and I do it at home. And my wife's like, she is very nice to me. She thinks that what I make is better than what Pizza Hut or Domino's will deliver. I wouldn't put myself up against a pizzeria in New York City, but apparently I make pretty good pizza. So I've not eliminated pizza. I've replaced it with homemade pizza. You do the same thing. Candy, I've replaced it with fruit. Those sneaky nibbles I was talking about earlier, that's the fruit and the ratio and the bagel. That stuff is keeping me from going and getting a Hostess cupcake. The fiber and all that stuff, the strawberries and all like that, they're sweet. They satisfy that need that I have for the sweet and tart and all like that. So you substitute. Next is protein first. This is probably, for me, has been one of the biggest struggles I've Retatrutide and all of the GLP-1s suppress appetite. You're not hungry. And, like I said, 900 calories right off the bat, eaten up by, all that fruit and a bagel. The bagel's like 270 calories of that. Well, that doesn't leave a lot of room for the protein, which is why, I'm using Core Power Extremes and whey protein powders to fill out and hit my protein target. Or actually, unfortunately, I've missed it quite often. So something to be aware of is tune things and try to find as many opportunities to get protein early. So early on, I wasn't using the ratio. I was just using Yoplait yogurt, which honestly is just canned. It's so much sugar in Yoplait. It's delicious, but it's just sugar. So using ratio, at least I was getting some of the protein I was missing out. Another example of the replace, don't eliminate is, instead of putting half and half in coffee, I'm using the Core Power Extreme, which also, I'm not sponsored by them. God, man, there's so many sponsorship opportunities here. If only I had a channel worth it. Get this stuff in there, and you get your protein with chicken breast. The jokes about, bodybuilders and chicken breast and rice and brock, brine your chicken. It also works great with pork chops. Both are great sources of protein and reasonably low in fat. If you brine it, you can make better than restaurant quality chicken at home, hit your protein goal. Chicken breast is just like a slam dunk in this case. Grabbing a steak, I love ribeyes. There's a lot of fat. I don't really care. It tastes good and it gives you good protein. Sirloin is great. Skirt steak, wonderful. One of the things I want to do as I grow out this channel, I would love to do stand and stir. I have a plan for it eventually. Hopefully you'll help me get there. I've already talked about, cooking at home. So as many opportunities as I can. We are cooking at home most of the time. We do eat out occasionally. Yesterday was the first time in I don't know how long we went out for Mexican. I had fajitas, and actually my wife had shrimp fajitas. I had steak fajitas. It was delicious. Thing is, we won't do that again for months. Part of the thing is, we were talking about it. People eat out so often that it loses its specialness and the food just blah. Cook at home and learn to cook. There's so much stuff on the internet, right here on YouTube, Pro Home Chef, just on and on and on and on and on. So many great sources to show you how to cook and give you ideas and techniques. Go use that and cook for yourself, and you can make great food and benefit and keep what you've earned through using this GLP-1. Last item is your portion control. I bought small dishes. I have these salsa bowls, and that's what I put the caramel corn in. That's a serving. They're right at a cup. So fill that up with popcorn, and that's the serving. Or I'll fill that up with tortilla chips, and that's it. That's what I have, and it's great. It's worked for me. I'm here. And as I titrate off, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to maintain this. Using these ideas, make your plan. I realize, as I said, I was talking to my friend about, stuff I do. And it's like, that sounds great. I've got 2 kids and they're young kids. And I know plenty of other people who are in the position where they're trying to lose weight, but they got kids in the house and they've got to navigate around that. At the moment, I'm thinking about it. How do you do that with kids? Because both my daughters, they're grown up, they're adults now, they're out of the house. I don't have to worry about them. Well, still worry about them, but they're not. I don't feed them. That is what I'm talking about as far as nutrition. Also, I was thinking about if there was an easy button for nutrition, it would be Weight Watchers. Now, I'm going to throw my gym under the bus. The base of CrossFit is actually nutrition. If you look at some of the stuff, if you look pyramid of CrossFit, the base is nutrition. And if you were to listen to Greg Glassman talk, he'd say that he would have focused more on the nutrition side than the workout stuff if he had it to do over again. Unfortunately, what I've seen of CrossFit gyms and just in the CrossFit space, nobody talks about nutrition, which I think is really too bad. It's a huge miss. So that's why I said if there's an equivalent for fitness, I think CrossFit is the easy button, and it should also be for nutrition, but it's not. And I think using a system like Weight Watchers could be an effective easy button there because it gives you that external accountability that you may be missing. So give that some thought. So you sit down right now and you get your fitness put together. Like I said, you're going to use CrossFit, and you figure out how you're going to cook and eat at home in a way that's going to sustain you after you come off the GLP-1, and start putting that plan together and implement it now while you're still on the GLP, and it's helping you. Do that now so that as you come off, you've already been practicing living life without the GLP-1, and you should be successful, and you'll be better able to make adjustments as you go, because as that as the assistance that the GLP-1's been giving you goes away and life happens. Stress is going to hit you, things are going to happen, but you've been doing these things long enough that you can see that, oh, shoot, things are not going the way I want. Let's make adjustments. And you'll have the tools in place already to do that. And you're not scrambling, and you're not having to take and reach for your credit card and order a GLP-1 that may or may not be available in the future. One of the things with the fitness that you're going to be doing, there is some wear and tear put on your body. And I'd like to point you over to this video where I talk about my best friend, BPC 157. It's a wonderful peptide that does great things for fixing what aches you. So go take a look there. And if you're interested in AI, like I said at the beginning, I'm a software developer. That's how I pay for all of this. And my focus right now is on AI. And I have a video here where I talk about my workflow for developing software using an AI assistant. So if you made it this far and you notice the little continuity change, well, turns out a couple of the videos I recorded didn't record. Oops. So here we are. I appreciate you watching this far. If you do see this, I'd love a comment. I'm trying to improve these videos. That's why this is a bit different than my usual just one take. Again, I really appreciate it. If you give me a like and a subscribe, I'd love it. Help me grow this out, and maybe I can actually get to where I can do some stand and stirs also. So until then, Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.